We've all asked ourselves that question, right? Why am I forgetting things? And man, it can send a shiver of fear right down your spine. You start to wonder, is this just a normal part of getting older, or is it something more? Well, let's dive in and get some actual, clear answers.
I mean, we've all been there. You get that sudden, momentary panic when a thought or a name just, poof, vanishes. And you can't help but wonder, oh no, is this the beginning of something serious? The good news? Most of the time, it's really, really not.
You know what I'm talking about? You walk into the kitchen with this absolute purpose. You're on a mission. And then you just stop. You stand there in the middle of the room thinking, what did I come in here for? It's the total classic, right? Or how about this one? You see someone you've known for years and their name just evaporates into thin air. You can see their face, you remember that funny story they told you last week, but the name? It's just gone. So frustrating. And then there's the frustration of reading. You realize you've gone over the same paragraph 3 times, but the words just aren't sticking. You know, all these little moments, they can be incredibly unsettling.
Okay, so let's get some clarity on all this. Here's what we're going to do. First, we'll figure out if what you're experiencing is normal. Then, we'll look at the reversible causes, the stuff you can actually fix. We'll also cover the real warning signs you need to know. And finally, we'll wrap up with a solid action plan for your brain. Sound good? All right, first things first, we need to completely reframe how we think about this. Because what if I told you that forgetting isn't always a sign of failure? In fact, in a lot of cases, it's a sign that your brain is working exactly as it should.
See, your brain isn't like a hard drive that just records everything perfectly. Think of it more like a super efficient curator. It's constantly deciding what's important enough to keep and what's just junk taking up space and energy. So forgetting unimportant details, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's a key part of the whole process. Okay, this is super important. This is where we separate the everyday annoyances from the genuine red flags. Forgetting where you put your keys, annoying, for sure, but probably normal. Getting confused and lost in your own neighborhood, that's different. That's a reason to see a doctor. Making this distinction is the absolute first most important filter.
So, if it's not always a serious disease, what is it?
Let's pull back the curtain and look at the real culprits. Because most of the time, that frustrating brain fog you feel isn't the start of something scary. It's actually caused by a handful of common and, this is the best part, fixable problems.
In fact, we're going to walk through 7 of the most common culprits that can totally masquerade as serious memory loss, but actually have nothing to do with irreversible decline.
First up, and this one is huge, sleep. You have to understand, sleep isn't just about resting. It's your brain's nightly maintenance cycle. It's when it flushes out all the junk, all the toxins, and crucially, converts your short-term memories into long-term storage. And get this, over 1/3 of us aren't getting enough sleep. So, is it any wonder we're feeling foggy? Seriously, if you're forgetting things, look at your sleep first.
Okay, you really need to hear this. Chronic stress is not just a feeling. It has a physical impact on your brain. The stress hormone cortisol, it's basically toxic to your hippocampus. That's your brain's memory center. And over time, it can literally cause that part of your brain to shrink. That's not a metaphor, that's biology.
And then there's what you eat or what you don't eat. It directly affects your brain. I mean, a simple vitamin B12 deficiency can create symptoms that look identical to early dementia. It's wild. Low vitamin D, not enough iron, a lack of omega-3s. All of these can seriously mess with your focus and memory. But here's the great news. All of this is super easy to check with a simple blood test. Here's another one that flies under the radar all the time, your thyroid. It's one of the most misdiagnoses out there. See, your thyroid gland pretty much regulates your body's entire metabolism. And when that thing is out of whack, your brain function just slows down. The brain fog can be intense, and it's often mistaken for something way more serious. But guess what? It's almost always reversible with the right treatment. You also have to play detective and look at what you're taking. So many common medications, things for anxiety, sleep aids, even some over-the-counter antihistamines can have memory disruption as a side effect. So if you think back and realize your memory issues kind of started right after you began a new medication, well, that's a huge clue. And it's definitely a conversation you need to have with your doctor.
And finally, we have to talk about mental health. Depression is not just a state of mind, okay? It is a neurobiological condition that directly impairs memory and concentration. The impact can be so severe that doctors actually have a name for it, pseudodementia. It looks like dementia, but it isn't. And the amazing thing is, by treating the underlying depression, you can often completely restore your cognitive function.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the reversible stuff, but now
Now we do need to talk about when it might be something more serious. So let's just clearly and calmly go through the specific signs that mean it's probably time to get a professional evaluation.
And here's the critical difference. We're not talking about forgetting where you put your keys anymore. We're talking about forgetting how to get home from the grocery store you've been going to for 20 years. We're not talking about blanking on an acquaintance's name. We're talking about forgetting the name of your own child. You see the difference? These are significant, fundamental shifts that go way beyond normal forgetting.
And listen to this because it's a huge indicator. Often, with these kinds of early conditions, the person actually experiencing the changes doesn't fully recognize them. So, if your spouse, your kids, your close friends, if they're expressing concern, please take that as a powerful signal. You have to take that seriously.
Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. So the big question is, what can you actually do about it? Let's not just talk about problems, let's talk about solutions. We're going to end with a clear, actionable plan to help you take control of your brain health, starting like right now. Here it is. This is your toolkit, a 5-step plan. Number 1, sleep. Make getting 7 to 9 hours non-negotiable. 2, exercise. Even just a brisk walk is one of the best things you can do for your brain. 3, challenge yourself. Learn something new, read, be social, build up that brain power. 4, get tested. Next time you see your doctor, ask for that simple blood work, vitamin D, B12, thyroid. And 5, talk to your doctor. Be honest and specific about what's going on. So when you boil it all down, this is the bottom line. Please don't panic. View these memory lapses not as some kind of sentence, but as a signal. It's your brain trying to tell you something. It's a check engine light saying that something in your life, your sleep, your stress, your nutrition, needs your attention.
Because here's the truth. In the vast majority of cases, your brain is fixable. The power to improve your memory, to improve your brain health, it's really in your hands. So the only question left is, where are you going to start?